Hey Zebras, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about fear. Fear is something that creeps in at many different points in our life. Now, when we're talking about fear, a lot of people have the fear of fitness. I've noticed this throughout my time in exercising, and I think a lot of people struggle with a major issue of the fear of the gym, a fear of being criticized, a fear of thinking that you're not good enough next to the person who's in the gym next to you, who's maybe all jacked up on human growth hormone, lifting tons of weight and looking like a total freak with their muscle shirt hanging off and veins popping out. Well, listen, one of the things that I've found is I've gotten away from the gym over the years, and I've moved more into just at-home fitness. That's because I had a son, not necessarily my fear of other people, but I know that people have that problem with themselves and in a fitness environment. I gravitated towards DDP Yoga because DDP Yoga is Diamond Dallas Page, former professional wrestler from back in the 90s. He created an incredible yoga platform that has really helped to fix my body at home. I can do these workouts at my house. I can do these workouts at my job, really wherever I am, because DDP Yoga is all set up through apps. So you can have the physical DVDs, but you can also have an app on your iPhone, on your smartphone. It doesn't have to be an iPhone. Maybe you're off the Apple teat. It could be on your iPad or tablet, whatever that looks like for you. And you can take DDP Yoga wherever you go. And DDP Yoga is special because it takes fundamentals of yoga, fundamentals of like plyometrics and strength training. No weights are involved. So when you see DDP Yoga in action and you understand how it works, me just saying the words may not make a whole lot of sense to you. When you do a workout and you feel how incredible your body feels, whenever you do a DDPY workout, you understand the change. You'll understand the difference. I've been almost 2 years now an active user, active member of DDP Yoga. It has changed my life, transformed my body, and you'll drop tons of weight. The weight will just come off of you. So if you're heavy, if you have trouble getting up and down, if your knees hurt, if you have trouble, getting out of bed in the morning, if you have trouble bending over to pick things up off the ground, and really if you just want to get your ligaments and tendons and everything stronger, DDP Yoga is the platform. I swear by it. It's all I do now. I swing a kettlebell every once in a while, but for the most part, I just do DDPY. So make sure you check it out. Check out ddpyoga.com, I believe is the website. Just Google DDP Yoga. You'll see what I'm talking about. Break that fear of fitness. I guarantee that'll do it. Now we're going to try to break other fears in this episode. So check this out. Let's rock it.
This is Rob Z Radio.
I want to thank everybody for joining me today on the podcast, just to come back and do an episode with everyone and talk about something that's really powerful to me, and I hope it would be really powerful to you as well. Fear is a powerful beast. Fear is a beast that sits within all of us. I've been reading one of the best books of all time lately. I don't know if you've ever read it or not. I know lots of people have. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is just an incredible book by Mr. Robert Kiyosaki. I've heard about it for many years. I think it came out in 1997. It's been, for the past 20 years, like the best financial book of all time or something like that. It's like up there on the list. And I always heard about it, so I thought I'm going to buy it one day and read it. And I went on Amazon. You can honestly buy Rich Dad, Poor Dad for like $5, $6, $7, $8. Brand new. And they have a brand new revised version, which seems like it was made this year in 2018. Maybe it was made in 2017. But there's one part, it's in Chapter 2, Lesson 2 of the book. I'm not sure of the exact page number. And I don't know about you whenever you read, but whenever I read, I highlight everything. I'll go through and put brackets around stuff, make notes, and kind of make different points because that's just how I remember things better. It helps things to stick better in my mind. And one of the things that I bracketed here from the book in Chapter 2, Lesson 2 is a statement from Robert Kiyosaki. He said, "The fear of being different prevents most people from seeking new ways to solve their problems." That's powerful. I'll repeat that. The fear of being different prevents most people from seeking new ways to solve their problems. Let it sink in for a second. The fear of being different. You go back to being in school, you go back to being in high school or elementary school, middle school, whatever. It was like the different kids always stood out and were picked on, right? Now, those different kids usually went on to do more than the popular kids did, or the kids that all fit into the crowd, I guess you could say. That's a very generalized statement, but I think that it can be true in many situations. I know for myself, when I was in school, I did have a big fear of being different, and I was different. I never recognized how different I was until really just a couple of years ago. I'm 35 years old, and it took me a long time to recognize how different I am as a person. Just my brain works differently, and I think really all of our brains do work differently, but we get caught in this thought pattern, this mindset of we should be the same as everybody else. We should fit into the mold, fit in. And school kind of makes that happen, right? We're all supposed to fit in line, to get in line, to sit in class all day long, to all learn the same way. Like, we don't all learn the same way. I learn from physically doing things. A lot of us learn that way through osmosis, and school may not have given you that opportunity. So school teaches you a lot of stuff, some of it helpful, some of it is a complete waste of time. I'm not going to get into that. That's not the point of this episode. The point of this episode is to understand that you are different, and once you embrace your difference from everybody else and embrace your uniqueness, it's just going to change who you are as a person. It's going to change the way that you do what you do. It's going to change everything. Once you accept that you are a different kind of human being, and there's no fear in that, there's just acceptance and love for yourself and for others, for everybody, for being different. Nobody's like you. You're not like anybody else. We're all unique. As much as you might think that you might be the same, as much as it's been pushed on us that we should all be the same, that being unique and different can be a bad thing, being unique and being different is, I think, the greatest thing in the entire world. It's one of the most empowering and powerful things in the entire world. So when he says the fear of being different prevents most people from seeking new ways to solve their problems, we always try to solve our problems with past solutions. We always try to solve our problems from things we already know. And if you go through my podcast and go back, I have 2 episodes with a guy named Ray Overdorf. And Ray has taught me that you can never break through and never have life-changing moments or situations without inviting in new information. We have about 80,000 or so thoughts per day. It's like 99% of those thoughts are old thoughts, right? So think about that. Like 80,000 or more thoughts per day. And like 99, I'm making these stats up, but they are, you can Google it. These numbers are right around the actual numbers. 99% of those thoughts are old thoughts. And that makes sense, right? Think about your thought patterns throughout the day. You usually do the same things every day, so you'll think the same things every day, and you'll come to the same conclusions every day. How do you change that without having new information come in? Like, creativity and imagination are the most powerful tools we have. That's how everything has happened in the history of the world, in the history of the universe. Things have to change. Things have to be different for you to be different, for you to change. Like, you need new stuff. That's where inspiration comes from. Look at Walt Disney and imagination, talking about imagination. Look what he created with imagination. Look at the iPhone, what Steve Jobs created with imagination. The imagination lets me do what I'm doing right now through this microphone, through this camera. This is how we're able to do this, from somebody creating this out of thin air, from imagination, from using the energy that comes from your own mind and from the collective mind, like a hive mind, right? So how do you get new thoughts into your brain? Well, think about that. How do you get new thoughts into your brain? I'll let you answer that for yourself for a second, and I'll offer my answer as well. My answer to you that I use is reading, number one, finding great books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You can get it from great documentaries. I've watched great documentaries that have helped me. So when we're talking about new information, you can get it really from anywhere. You could get new information from a homeless guy on the street. You get new information from a terrible movie or a comedy or a comic book. Or you could get new information from a pamphlet that you picked up at the doctor's office. So there's a bunch of different ways to insert new information into your brain. And that might cause you to think differently, but it might not be the right different. You want the different way of thinking that's going to move you forward. So when you're thinking about, like, what books should I read? If you're reading a lot of fiction, some fiction can be helpful, and it can be a good release, like a good movie or TV show. But you really want something that's going to empower you and strengthen you and build your confidence, right? Like, you're going to want something that's going to give you new information that's going to move you forward and really help you with your life. So motivation, self-help, all that kind of crap. Some people hate hearing those words. And I hate that people hate hearing those words. I don't like that, because you should like hearing motivation. You should like hearing self-help. It's gotten a bad rap, I guess, over the years from certain people, but the people that I listen to are powerful, man, like Robert Kiyosaki, like Tony Robbins, like Tai Lopez, like Tim Ferriss. I mean, there's people out there. I'm just throwing a few. There's a lot. Find those people. Find the people who inspire you to lead you to new people who have new pieces of information. So read more nonfiction. Read more books that are powerful. Start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Slight Edge by Greg Olson, I think, is who wrote that. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Amazing books that'll change your life. They'll change everything. If you find good documentaries, Netflix has so many. The documentary hole's a weird one, because I don't know if that's exactly the best way to gather new information. It seems for me documentaries don't always stick in my brain, and books are more dense. Books have more information and are I feel more authentic and accurate. Documentaries are more stimulating. They're more visually pleasing, so maybe that's more of their goal, is to get you to stimulate you, to get you to watch. Books really get you, especially classic books that have been proved time and time again to work. You can go to tailopez.com, TAI Lopez.com, and he's I think he has the biggest nonfiction book club in the world. And I've learned so much from him. It's really why I started reading again, not being in school. You know, in school you have to read, but a lot of us don't have a lifelong learning tactics that we use past school. So if you can apply that somehow, find those people who offer that up. But if you go to tailopez.com, or even Oprah's book club, I guess, is a really good one. But Ty has a great list of books, his 100 favorite books of all time, links to Amazon. You can go buy them, and then you'll start finding books from books, and the more you start to read, the more you start to learn from other people, and they'll tell you about books they love. So that's the other thing, the other way to get this new information in your brain, the fear of being different, right? Find people who think differently, who have had great success thinking differently, and follow them. And if you can meet them in person, that's amazing. I mentioned Ray Overdorf earlier. Now, Ray is on 2 podcasts. You can listen to him, and there is a live video on my Twitter, I believe, Rob Z. Yo, of me and Ray, of Ray and I. And Ray's one of those guys. I have him in my life. It's awesome to have him as a mentor, because he is teaching me so much stuff, taking me outside of my box and helping me think differently, helping me change my thought patterns. I have several people in my life who I've brought on board over the past 2 to 3 years who help me think differently, help me learn differently, help me, that 99% of repeating thoughts, they've helped to eliminate some of those and add in new thoughts that are sending me in a new direction. It's amazing how just a couple of really good new thoughts repeated on a pattern over and over and over again in your brain will get you out of whatever pattern you're stuck in and help you move forward. It's crazy. Just a couple of those thoughts repeated will break old chains and get rid of old thought patterns. Now, the older you are, the harder it is to do, but I'm telling you, if you implement it now, it can be life-changing. So go out there. That's all I'm going to leave you with today. I think I've hit you with enough. The fear of being different prevents most people from seeking new ways of solving their problems. Powerful. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Buy it. Thank you for listening. If you listen to this podcast, or if you watch this podcast, what are some fears that you've broken? How have you learned to think differently? And how has that changed you? So if you're listening to the podcast, go to robzradio.com, click the Contact Me button, and leave your response there. If you're watching this on video, you can leave a comment, DM me, or leave a comment anywhere you find this post, whether YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're at. And hopefully you got something out of this. I hope this was impactful for you in some sort of way. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Zebras, peace out. It's always a blast to do the podcast. It's always a blast to talk with you, because I love to be able to spread messages. I love to be able to spread some information that hopefully is helping somebody out. So speaking of helping somebody out, shout out to the sponsors. Parts of this podcast are made possible from the Clay Cup. Sarah at the Clay Cup is amazing. At the Clay Cup, she's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Coffee, tea, and creativity. And she's an active thinker. She thinks differently. That's what I love about Sarah. She's amazing at what she does, and she's amazing at thinking outside of the box. Same way with Trade Secrets. So Trade Secrets in Altoona, Pennsylvania as well. Facebook, Secrets and Trade. Steph and her husband Andy make natural body care products. They're all made in-house. All research and development is in-house. No added weird chemicals. Things like deodorants and soaps, sugar scrubs and lip balms, wax melts at Trade Secrets. Secrets in Trade on Facebook to find out more. And also shout out to Juice. Jen at Juice is awesome. She thinks differently. In Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, in the small town that I live in, she brought juice into our area, which means healthy smoothie bowls, bone broth, cold pressed juice and smoothies, hot soups, raw vegan baked goods. Everything is fresh. You can watch her make it in front of you. It's all made to order. That's the power that I find, is that, she thinks differently. She's thinking outside of the box. Literally, you think about boxes, you think about boxed foods and processed foods. She gets rid of all of that. That's why juice is so powerful and so important for our area and really anywhere that has natural foods with natural ingredients. JOOS, Juice, at The Juice Bar on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to my dude, Jake Over. All the beats, all the music you hear on this podcast, like this one, is from an amazing music producer. His name is Jake Over. Hit him up on Facebook, Jake Over. And if you want to help out the podcast and support what we do here, patreon.com/Rob Z Radio, my sweet peas. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you next time. Zebras out.
This is Rob Z Radio.
That's brutal.